Well, good morning. It is early morning here, but I am super excited to get started today. So let's go. Okay, product of the day, this book. Oh my gosh, a children's encyclopedia of art. Oh my goodness. So Leonardo da Vinci, I mean, it's got all the others, but what I love is that it's got like, okay, besides Pablo Picasso, it's got like Impressionism, Christian art. So it goes through all these different types of art and it explains to them, like you just read this to your kids if they're little. You just read this and show them some pictures like at breakfast, okay? Like, you know, pick one of these at breakfast, flip through, ask them what they think about it, imaginative art. So it's just got a brief description, painting emotions as to what these things are. So it's quite, I mean, I just love this book. I love this book. I was so excited when it came. Normally I use a children's introduction to art, which I thought was good, but we just went through it too fast. And so I was really surprised when my 7-year-old or 6-year-old was like, oh my gosh, I want to learn more of the Renaissance invention. So it's just highly recommended. Highly recommended, I love it. Second product of the day is mistakes that worked. I know, I subscribe to all these book lists, so yeah, I try out all these books and this is like X-rays was a mistake that worked. So again, these are one of those ones that you pull it out and you can read it, you know, focus for like 2 weeks. Be like, you know, this is the book that keep it on the table and during breakfast or lunch, read a section of it. There you go. The next thing I'm going to talk about, final product of the day, is something that if you are anxious, if you have a lot on your mind and you are running around like a crazy person, or there's a lot you're concerned about, or you're just stressed. You are stressed. Because I studied anxiety and reduced my anxiety, I know a lot of tips and tricks, and one of them that worked is you need to do a brain dump. When you are stressed and feeling overwhelmed, you need to do a brain dump. You write down, this is my to-do list. You have a master checklist. You write down everything that needs to be done. We are moving countries, so on top of just life and homeschooling and all that, there's a million things I need to do, like, for example, take apart the trampoline. So tons of different things. So anything you need, anyone you need to email, any emails you need to send, any appointments you need to schedule, any tests of your kids you need to create or look over, or curriculum that you want to check out, anything you need to do, you put it on this list. And then this is what you're going to do. Then every day you do, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? Now this isn't a day planner, so you don't need to put speech and OT down. I just did just because I only have 2 things this week. So I put down speech and OT, and then you go back to this list and you're like, okay, what am I gonna do today? You know, today I'm gonna pay the electric bill. Today I'm gonna complete that bank account sign up. And so you choose just 1 to 3 things. That's it. That's it, and you write it down. And that's it, and despite all the other stuff you do, you only have 1 to 3 things that you need to get down outside of life and living it from this list. And then you get to cross it off, because I think I was looking through here and I was like, I did that one already. What did I do? I don't even know, so I'll have to look through it again and see. Oh, send deposit, that's what I did. Or you can check it off, whatever you want. And so you get the benefit of checking it off twice. Okay, so no matter what, no matter how busy your day is, you will get through and you will at least do 1 to 3 things and you're getting down your list. So that is one of the things you need to do that will help reduce your anxiety. I'm telling you, I am an expert at anxiety. I swear to you, I am. I have gotten rid of, mine was so bad and I got rid of it. Anyway, I reduced it to a manageable amount. That would be a more fair statement. I went from being like a 10 and 11 to like a 1 to 3. Not bad at all. All right, so today we're talking science. So I have a ton of curriculums to show you and discuss. Now, first off, let me talk to you about snap circuits. Snap circuits, I'm going to show you a video on the screen. You open it up, it's all these electronics. My 4-year-old used it, he loved it. So even at age 4, if your child's mechanically inclined, like 4 or 5, they can use it. And all you do is, you can do it too, even if you have no clue about electronics and science. All you do is open up the book, pick a picture, copy that picture, problem solve. Like if it's not working, is one of the parts turned incorrectly? Like, do we have it backwards? Are the batteries working? And then it has a little box and you can read that box of why this does what it does. So they turn on lights, they make sounds, they do all these types of things. And then your kids, once they understand a circuit that is round, like that it's all connecting to the battery, once they understand that, they can make a million different things on their own. So don't shy away from it is what I'm saying. And you can buy them used a lot of times on eBay. All right, so first up, curriculum. I just made toast here. I cleaned it too just for this. Darn it. Okay, so let's talk. This is an interesting curriculum. It is Foundations by Classic Conversations. You do not have to do community, but you can do community if you want. In here, not only does it come with this, it also comes with, where are the cards? I had a bunch of cards for them. Let's go find those cards. Oh, is that them? That's not those cards. Ugh. But you can get the app for it. The app, here it is. You can get the app for it. The app is really good. The app's super cool. You can get the app, and you can also get on Apple, you can get their memory work, because this coincides with memory work. So essentially what you're doing is every week, so there's cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. Cycle 1, and every year you go through cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, next year cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, something like that. Like if you're doing it at home, you could do it at your own pace. So I'm not an expert on this, but this is what I have gleaned from this. When you're in the car, week 1, for example, is the classifications of living things: domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. The classification of living things, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you can have the cards, but you don't need them. You could just get either the app, which is $14, I think, or the CDs, and then listen to them in the car, and then you have week 1, this is what you listen to like the entire week. You listen to the classification of living things. So it's starting to get it into their long-term memory, right? And then you'll do it, when you do it next year, or next time you go through cycle 1 again, you spend a week on that. It's something that's getting into their back of their mind, so that when they go to implement it, they do not have to memorize it and implement it, they only have to implement it, all right, when they get older. So that's an interesting concept that I really like. I like that concept. Now, here is for an example of their science project. So it's like real world science project: dissection crayfish, dissection owl pellets, nature hike, parts of a flower, nature hike. So it also pairs you up with a science experiment book as well. Okay, so that's kind of all I can show you. There's not much, like this book contains a bunch of different stuff, but here it is. So this is week 10. So the science for the week 10 is, what are some kinds of leaves and leaf parts? So very cool. And again, you could just get the audio and use that. I bought this used, so you could buy it used. Again, it probably won't be the most updated version, but it's still cool. It's still cool, very interesting. All right, so next up we have, let's do R.E.A.L Science Odyssey. This is one of my favorites. I really like this. I really like it. I like it because it's all one book. So it's all in one book. I bought this one used. It retails, I think, for $100. So this is your supplies list. So supplies needed for the week: a plant and a rock. Okay? So skeletal muscular system, supplies needed: scissors, glue, black construction paper, white or gold paint or pen, tag board, hole punch, okay, so you got it. And then it goes into, see, it also has, these are additional readings as well. So if you want additional readings, the couple, see what's inside you, the Usborne starting science point, things like that. So a well curriculum, website suggestions. Okay. Now, like I said, the last thing I showed, video that I talked about this, it said take in energy, we do this by eating, we get rid of the waste, all living, so this is what all living things do. Okay, so it's very to the point, and I like that. I like that it's to the point. It's not my favorite curriculum, but it's up there. This is absolutely hands down my favorite curriculum. I have showed it to you before. Now, it's level 1, right? So you start it when you think your child is ready for it. This is their laboratory book. It comes with a list of science experiments that I wanted to show you. Where is that other book? I must have left it, because I want to show them the science experiments. This curriculum is written by a homeschool mom. This curriculum has no fluff. There is no busy work. I'm going to show you into Bookshark's and Sonlight's curriculum, which is the same. I'm going to show you into that, and you're going to see the definition of busy work, in my opinion, purely my opinion. So, some people may like it. Now, I want a real strong science curriculum. I believe I found it in this. It's not cheap, but it's not that expensive, I guess. It's $162 if you get all the testing and stuff like that. And I did, not because I want the test, but because I want the study manual. Let me pull you into the light here. That's cardboard and tape for my son to have fun. So look at this, experiment 12, a toy car, stiff cardboard, marshmallows, optional pennies and tape. You honestly have this stuff at home. Experiment 2, watercolor paints. Paper to paint on several sheets, scissors and tape. Experiment 7, cotton balls, rubber ball, tennis ball, apple, banana, rocks, Legos, other objects, colored pencils. So you have this stuff. So this is like the teacher's manual, okay? This is the teacher's manual. This, again, is my favorite curriculum. You can't start it in kindergarten, in my opinion. You just can't. You gotta, because I want them to absorb it. The older the kids are, the more they will absorb it. Check this out. I just love it. I just love it. I cannot express to you how much I love it. So, I'll show you the table of contents. This is what it covers. Chemistry. The introduction to science. What is science? Then it covers chemistry. What is chemistry? Then it covers biology. It covers physics. It covers geology and astronomy. So the 5 biggest topics of science. Your children are going to study it every single year. I forget what year they go up to so far. I think 7. So, what is science? I love this part. The last part of science is comparing ideas with other scientists and sometimes even arguing about the answers to the questions. So you ask questions, you do experiments, and you compare results. That, my friends, is science. It's got the history of science. So there's no busy work here. It's got the building blocks of science. You get right to it, and I mean, clearly, can you tell I love that? I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love their study guide too. Like if you want to do exams, midterms and exams, which I don't, but if you want to, next up, let's talk about the Sassafras Science Adventures. These are great. They are books. So far, I don't know if I didn't find anything particularly Christian. That's obviously Christian. This generally, when talking about science in these curriculums so far, I don't see any talk about Christianity or otherwise in there. But again, this element, of course, is classical conversations. It's Christian, so you will, I'm sure you talk about that in community, I have no doubt. So, but just what I've gleaned from it, doing it on my own, I don't know. If you're secular, I think you'll be fine doing it, is my opinion. Just that one part, anyway. Okay, so the Sassafras Science Adventures, I should note that this is kind of like almost a full curriculum. As full curriculums as they are, there's no real complete curriculum. I have yet to discover a curriculum that has math, science, language arts, everything encompassing. I can't find it. I cannot find it. There's always someone that says, oh yes, they have a full curriculum, and really they sub out and they're like, okay, but you also need to buy, Math with Confidence, or you need to use this for language arts. Okay, so back to this. This is the Sassafras Science Adventures. It comes with this is elemental science. Now, however, the books, so they each cover, they cover zoology, which is the biology, geology, all these different areas. Okay, so there's 5 books, and they're read-alongs. It's about kids who failed science, so now they got to go on these different adventures. And every chapter is like Chapter 2, the African grassland. So you can look up accompanying stuff with that, pictures if you want, while you read it aloud to pass along. So I wouldn't recommend buying the extra supplies that go with it, because it does come with a whole series if you want to do additional stuff. I just like these books. They're, I want to say $12 a book. And they're good read-alouds because you do learn a lot about zoology and science and stuff like that when reading them. So, and they're kind of interesting. They're not bad. If you know me, we read a ton of books. Like, we just love books. So I will say they are good books. I won't say they're the best I've ever read because that would be dishonest, but they are good books. All right, so let's talk about the good and the beautiful. The good and the beautiful, they do family style science, which I think is a super cool concept. And I bought all their family style ones. So this is like, it comes with different rocks and gems. You don't have to get this, right? And a lot of the curriculum, of course, is free if you have a printer. Now, the printer, if you need, get an eco tank. You get 7,800 pages for $40 of ink. I know, it's crazy, color. All right, so let me show you through the geology. Now this is definitely Christian, so it's got Christianity mixed in. So for me, there's different types of Christianity. You got 7 to 8 lesson extensions they come with. So for me, there's different levels of Christianity lessons have. So sometimes they put them to the side and you could just read a box if you want to. And sometimes they mix it all in. This is mixed all in. So when you're reading through it, so this is Introduction to Geology and Earth's Composition. This is the activities, the layers of the Earth. So very interesting. I love the pictures. It's always, that's what they say about good and the beautiful. It's aptly titled. It is good and it is beautiful. So it does have God mixed in a lot of it. So now look, it's got this for K through 3, doing that. Now, of course, if they can't write yet, then you fill it in. This is 4 through 6. So they got to do a bit more. And then I believe there is the 7-8 extension. Yeah, extension. I'm trying to open that. Anyway, so there you go. So if that's something, now I I haven't read through this entire curriculum, so take that for what it's worth. I have not read through the entire curriculum. They also have vocab words at the back. Let me show them to you. So these are things you could print off: geology, geologist, crust. But I just love the family concept. But look over here. This is honestly the best deal you're gonna get. Usborne Beginners. I did a whole video on Usborne books that I have, just the ones I have at my house. And I never buy them from a distributor, just the cost. I buy them on Amazon. These were 35 bucks. Look at this. So let's pull out, I mean, does it have Planet Earth? It's got Planet Earth, so just, hold on. Not all of you. All right, so let's look through Planet Earth. So every morning we get in bed and we read. These can be like a morning basket thing where you pull them out, but what we do is, I'm like, all right, before we're done reading, pick a book. And then they pick a book and you can read through it. Because you glean a lot of information. Even, I would say, up to age 8, you glean a lot. Now, the thing about teaching science, people, is remember, science changes. As we get more information, things change. So I try not to be super arrogant regarding quote unquote facts, because facts are just theories that haven't been disproven yet, and some of them may never be disproven. But what I'm saying is, when you read it, first you were like, oh, Pluto's a planet, and now we're like, Pluto's not a planet. So some books, obviously you can't always keep up with that. Okay? You can't always keep up with it. So this is interesting. Speaking of rivers and different gases and how rain goes into the oceans and then it vaporizes kind of back up to the, you know, whatever that's called, the cycle of water. There's this book called Ice Boy. I got the library. I mean, it's recommended. It's a cute book about an ice cube and his life and what happens to him on his journey, because he goes into he, you know, becomes different. I don't know what you call it when you're different, because help me out in the comments, but you go from solid to liquid, different, I don't know. Gases, matter, all right. So this set right here, I got it because after going through the Sonlight and going through the Bookshare curriculums, I decided, heck no, I'm not doing that with my kindergartner. Like, no way is that happening. Because I just don't think, it's just a ton of busy work. But what I think you can get away with, and is quite fun, is if you teach your kindergartner, so you could do Pinterest experiments or get one of these kits. And if you teach your kindergartner about hypothesis, different states, that's what that is, different states, when you go from water, da-da-da-da. Okay, so if you teach your kid, your child, your beloved child, you can read Ada Twist Scientist. It's a good picture book, kind of explains it. I think adults like it more than kids, but it's still cool. And you explain to them, all right, we're doing science. We are doing a hypothesis. What do you think will happen? Everybody says, what do you think will happen before you do the experiment? You can write it down, you can draw it out. Then you do the experiment, and then you either draw or write, AKA recording the results. And you discuss the results about what happened. That's science, you've just done it. Pat yourself on the back and pick up some books and you're good to go. That's my opinion. However, let's talk about a couple more science things. I wrote them down. Okay, so we also got mystery science. So while I talk about mystery science, I'm going to show you, I'm going to do some flip through some books. Okay, so mystery science. Now this is the Usborne Children's Encyclopedia. Covers a variety of topics. It is recommended with, let me get over in the light again for you. It's recommended with the, which science kit is it? The Sonlight and the Sonlight and Bookshare curriculum, which is the same curriculum. It's just, they changed the names on the box and stuff. Because one's Christian, one's supposed to be a Christian company, and one is supposed to be secular. So there you go. Kind of, I don't want to say misleading, because that doesn't sound nice, but maybe kind of. Anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, mystery science. So mystery science, now wait for it, $1,000 a year, over $1,000 a year. What you get is you get a ton of videos, like how is chocolate made? And all these, you know, or how does chocolate melt? How do you go down the slide even faster? Things like this. So it's brilliant, but the reason I'm telling you about it is because you can get, I want to say it's almost a 6-month free trial just from entering in your email address. So I tend to like to focus on things like for 3 weeks or 6 weeks, we're going to focus on, say, space. Or 3 weeks to 6 weeks, I'm going to choose a curriculum that I like to focus on, like we did Blossom and Root. Okay, so anyway, there you go. That's a preview of the encyclopedia. What else does it have? I'll show you this. Again, I went through this. So it's got history, science, how things work, maps the world, space. So not a bad book. Not a bad book. Okay, so let me talk about Blossom and Root while I show you through my favorite books. This taught me about atoms. Is the moon made of green cheese? Are clouds made of candy? Are frogs made of slime? Frogs are not made of green slime. What? They are made of atoms. We are atoms. Look, we link together. Atoms are like little building blocks. Atoms make everything we touch, taste, smell, and see. Wow, atoms are cool. But anyway, we just had a lot of questions about it. Okay, so there's another one. It's all right. DK Find Out Science. It's recommended for, again, I want to say Bookshark and Sonlight. And it's not bad. These, I like these, Planet Earth. So on the screen, while I'm showing you these, I am also showing you, I really like the National Geographic Kids Planet Earth collection, weather, rocks, minerals, storms. They're pretty fun. So these are also part of my favorite book collection because you can get the chemistry section, like proteins. You can get the molecules, which FYI, atoms, when they link together, become molecules. I know that now. How Does My Home Work? That's another great book that you're not going to find at the library. These books you won't find at the library, some of them. How Does My Home Work? Let's take a look at that. Okay, so the Blossom and Root is amazing curriculum because A, it's not expensive, and B, it has no additional books required. No additional books required, just suggested reads, but you do not have to do them in order to do their curriculum. It's a very gentle curriculum. It is a nature curriculum. There's one part that's nature. I did the space part, which discusses planet Earth. Oh, my doorbell's ringing so early. Okay, so I am showing you on the screen about the Blossom and Root curriculum. So now we do this, so it comes together with the space one. We do, it's also one of my favorite books. It's anything that happens under the water. So the Blossom and Root. It's secular. You don't need any additional books with it. It's very affordable. It's written by a homeschool mom. And it's the nature unit is comparable to the gentle and classical, except Blossom and Root is more gentle. That is what I would say the big difference is between the two. Whereas the gentle and classical, you can use it for a few years and it's more intensive, I guess, nature-wise. Has just a lot more elements to it. Blossom and Root is very relaxed. So that is the big difference between, and more affordable. It's more affordable, I would say, Blossom and Root. Now let me talk to you about, there's also Campfire Curriculums. Campfire Curriculums is super cool. Campfire Curriculums is like you choose a job. So say meteorologist. Let's flip it over. We could do under Earth. So Campfire Curriculums, you can do as I was saying, you could be a storm chaser. You can be in the military. You can be a zoologist, and you get to see what those people do for a day. And when you buy a curriculum, it's $30. When you buy one of their subjects, you get materials for a kindergarten, you get materials for elementary, and you get materials for high school. Okay, so, and it also comes with, there's two things you need to note about it. First of all, their Christianity portion is in a little box called Faith Talk. So if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. So it's not mixed in. I don't like the Christianity mixed into curriculums. It causes a little bit of confusion for me. I like to just stick to one topic, what we are talking about. But then you can go and do that after, which I like. I like that. Now they do have this portion of Dad Does. So do this with Dad. If you do not have a father figure in your family or something like that, or if it's going to cause sadness for you, just be aware of that. Because I like to make people aware. They also, the curriculum, they're very kind. They say you do not have to do that. Like I do that with my kids. I do the dad portion with them. And it's fun stuff like wrap yourself up in a bunch of blankets just to see what the layers of the atmosphere are like. So you're wrapping yourself up with every layer of the atmosphere. So it's very cool. So I'm probably showing you a preview of it now on the screen, but it's very neat. Another curriculum is one, So Torchlight recommends it. Torchlight is a secular reading program. You don't have to get it to do the book list. If you watch my videos, I have their curriculum and I do a ton of books from their book lists. They sub out a few subjects. So it's just a literacy program. They sub out science. And the science, what they want done is they say use, what's it called? Be Curious is what they use. Now I went and I bought Be Curious. I bought the DNA to try out the DNA top, like just to try it out to see what it was like. Now, the thing about it is, first of all, you can buy it cheaper on Amazon, so that irritated me. Right away, I was not liking that. These are cool if you can find them. They're very old, but we love them. They're very small books, just about storm cells, tornadoes. They're just very interesting about blizzards. So science vocabulary readers, if you can find them. Very cool, very simple about blizzards, rain, just fun. So yeah, so right away that irritated me. Again, I don't know if they offer more on the website than they do when you purchase it on Amazon. I don't think so, because I had to print it off, and you don't even have to print it off when you get it from Amazon, okay? So that, I didn't like that. It still irritates me, even though it was like $2 difference or $3 difference. Yeah, I feel like you should have told me, like, hey, go to Amazon, get it on Amazon cheaper. Get it on Amazon cheaper. But now, so you pay, oh my gosh, how much do you pay? $20 or $30? I didn't find you got a real discount with the Torchlight, but perhaps I'm wrong on that. And there's just, I mean, I found some better books discussing DNA, and even a free lesson online discussing DNA. So they have 7 pages of content for that, and then some games you do and things like that. So it just wasn't a huge hit. There's this other book, is it here, discussing DNA that, again, in my favorite readers, R.E.A.L Science for Kids, this is in their chemistry line, that I think explains it, if you ask me, a bit better. So that's just my opinion. I think that's all I was going to show you in the Sonlight curriculums. Okay. Now Sonlight curriculums, again, it's expensive. It's like $300. And you could do 4 or 5 days a week. Goodness gracious, how would you do 4 or 5 days a week? I don't even know. Maybe, I have no idea how to get a kindergartner to sit that long. Okay, so this is it's a good book, interesting books, all about plants, right? So, okay, so it also comes with these books. These are Pasteur's Fight Against Microbes, Marie Curie's Search for Radium. I actually haven't even opened these books, but now that I am, they look pretty good. A little long for kindergartners. Now, we read a lot. We read every day, and I still think that's a little long, considering this is in their kindergarten program, okay? It might be their grade 1 program. Actually, it might be their grade 1 program. Hold that thought. And then, of course, we got really good Magic School Books. They have a great one in evolution. If you teach evolution, they have a great evolution one. If you don't teach evolution, an alternative to that is God Made Babies. It's kind of cool. All right, and this is, before I get that curriculum and show you my least favorite curriculum and our favorite toy, this is Human Body Theater. So, Act 1, the skeletal system. Act 2, he puts on a costume, the skeleton does, and now he's doing the muscular system. So it is, let me show you some, so it's a play. He's putting on a play. So I think it's great. I quite like it. I would say grade 1. Grade 2 probably be the most beneficial for it. All right, and lastly, I have the grade 1 curriculum. I want to talk about switching curriculums. If you are in a curriculum that is not working for you, you can switch it. What I recommend you do, it's not working for you or your child, you both count. What I recommend you do is go back a year or two. If you can't start from the beginning, go back a year or two, and it'll be, but worst case scenario, it's like a review, so it's not that big a deal. So this is Sonlight, also known, it switches into, it would say Bookshark there, if it was the secular version. So clearly, when you read this, there's not a lot of, this is the only thing, but other than that, when you go through it, I haven't seen any reference to God in here. If you are looking for a religious curriculum, you might want to stick more with the Classical Conversations or the Bookshark. or the good and the beautiful. Okay, so this is the kindergarten, okay? Kindergarten science experiments, right? So a good book of science experiments, it is. Can you just buy this book? Probably, but you would need to spend $100, $79 to get this book of supplies. I actually bought 3 years of this and I need to return it, which is another thing I need to put on my list. Okay, so you look in here, it smells interesting, like they have something smelly in here, like good smelly. So some of these supplies you see you could find on your own, but I don't know if I could find a rubber pipe on my own. There's a few things that it would be a pain to go and track down for me being overseas. Maybe you at home, but honestly I've heard people say it's just worth it just to buy this curriculum. Also, if you have another curriculum I haven't looked at, put it in the comments because I will definitely take a look. Okay, so you got the books, you got the experiments. Now let's check out, one of the things I don't like about this is, first of all, you're gonna be like, okay, a student packet. So it's not that expensive. All I need to do is order the paper packet because it's a consumable. No, there's consumables in here. There's consumables in the instructor's guide. Like there's consumables and everything, so you have to buy it all or photocopy it for every kid. Okay, so let's talk about ants, all right? So day 9, we're talking about ants today. Page 20 and 21, page 20 and 22. So you're not doing an intense amount of ant work, but this is why I bought it, is because I thought these sheets looked very cute. And they are very cute. Why someone needs to know this much about ants, I don't know. To me, that's just busy work, right? Like, unless you love ants. If your kid loves ants, FYI, watch Ants Canada. It is very cool. It is like a soap opera about little ants. Oh my gosh, it's very cool. So we like Ants Canada in this house. Okay, so I just don't know why you need that much. Are we still on ants? No, now we're on bees and the bee colony. Mark all the jobs of the worker bees. Challenge, when someone is hardworking, why do you think we call them a busy bee? Very interesting. This is kindergarten, like your kindergartner can't write yet. So, I mean, okay, some people's kindergartners can. But just not mine. None of mine have been able to write in kindergarten, and I've never pressured them to learn that young. It's just not my thing. Okay, so anyway, challenge. Why do you think it's easy to believe that all bees do sting? Do all bees and wasps sting? Yeah, so it's just not my favorite. It's just a lot of busy work. Let me show you in the experiments. The experiments are pretty cool. One of them is how you dig tunnels. In there now, even with the supply box, you still have to come up with a bunch of your own supplies. So take that for what you will. So this is the, how do you measure temperature? Very cool. This is rainforest layers. It's just intensive. Anything you have to do every day at kindergarten, to me, I consider intensive. So I consider intensive. Let's see. Let's look at that. Okay, there's the rainforest templates. There's the rainforest, I thought they were lemons. The solar leaf patterns. That's a picture of the rainforest, very pretty. How do plants help us breathe? Introduction, you read that to them. So, talk about it. Here's an experiment. I wanted to show you an experiment. Here, experiment. How is chocolate made? Materials. 3 tablespoons of chocolate chips. So none of these are from the box. You have to provide them all, but it's kitchen stuff. It can't be that 1 microwave safe coffee mug, not too hard. So that's easy to come up with. And then, or you can do mystery science, the ones about chocolate. So why are honeycombs hexagons? Also interesting. So again, more printables. Okay, so here we go. Why do bees visit flowers? The materials, so the key concepts you're learning, the before you begin. These are the K, it comes in the box. The honey stick, like you would have to come up with a honey stick or an alternative type of honey, maybe just honey, I don't know. Oh, honey, no, and honey. A paper fan template, the eyedroppers in there, and the flower garden sheet. You have to come up with 5 small clear glasses, water, 3 tablespoons of sugar, food coloring, styrofoam egg tray, stuff like that. So it's not, I mean, I'm not saying it's that bad, but if you don't pay that 79 bucks for that box, and if you want every child to do it, good luck to you. Because, oh my goodness. But, so, it's up to you. It's my least favorite, but maybe you'll like it, and I don't. Okay, so now I'm going to show you my favorite product that we made ourselves, that kids, the Charlotte Mason Magda Gerber type product, if you will. So go ahead, take a look, and I hope I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Okay, so here I am showing you my favorite Charlotte Mason Magda Gerber type toy. It is blocks, but blocks with some extra long pieces here of 2x4. I made them out of 2x4, and I also went and I got just some at Home Depot. You can have them cut it at Home Depot for you. My husband cut it for me to my specifications, but just so it would, I know it's been through a lot. Like, they played with it for years, just so that we have roofs, so we could make roofs. I got some other 1x6s and I cut them down just to make roads. So that is, I'm telling you, it's a toy they have played with for years now. Can you say, please like and subscribe?
Please like to like.
And hit the bell for notifications.
Hit bell for notifications.